Hello again. So this is my second video on my greenhouse, the 93358. It's the 10 by 12 from Harbor Freight. So it's all put together now. I should have done a second video earlier, but I got a little excited and on a roll and off I went. So to tell you what we did to reinforce this thing, one thing we did was, let's see, that's a window. In the windows, we took rope caulking and we put it between the window and that frame. And we did that all the way around. And you can see it better on the outside. But we put 3 strips on the bottom, and 2 strips on the sides, and 3 on the top as well. And if you see all that, we stuck it in there with some silicone just to make sure it wouldn't fly out. That was something we were worried about. So we also built an inner frame. I remember the post bases that I told you about for the 4x4s. Well, there's my 4x4s. And there's my post bases. And they got hammered in with these joist hanger nails because they're galvanized, I guess, and they're what the boyfriend told me to get. So that's what we got. We also got some Simpson strong ties, if you can see them. Doesn't look too good from here. And with the Simpson strong ties, he put a corner one here. I think he called this an A35, and then he bent it. He split it apart right there, and he bent it here and here. He put those on after because he wasn't feeling very good about the front. But in the back, it looks much prettier. So we also stuck some Simpson strong ties, if you can see, right in there. And that goes underneath this wood that he did at a 45, which we have another Simpson strong tie. He put that at a 45, and he put this one at a 45, so I have a 45 there. So, if you can see this, let's see if that works. There you go. We have a 45 going from the corner to the middle of this bar, to the middle of that, or a third of the way to that bar, and into that corner. And for here, he put joist hangers. Nailed all these with those nails I just showed you. And so there's 2 beams going across. Let me go to the other side so you can see a little better. So there's 2 beams going across. We've got the 45 up front, the 45 up front, and then he also, which I can't show you, used some Simpson strong tie plates across the top of these 45s. I don't know if you can see that, but he wasn't too excited about the way that 45 connected into that corner, so he wanted to give it a little more of a, I think he said a positive something. So, if you're wondering what these green pool noodles are for, because it gets so hot here in Reno, and I'm worried about too much sun, we also ran some cable, also from Harbor Freight, as well as those little anchors. And we ran it from end to end, on both ends, on the 10-foot side. And we bought this lovely mesh tarp. And this is so I can give the plant shade when the sun is just a little too hot. And with that, because the wood is very snaggy and would potentially snag the tarp, we went ahead and covered the top of it with Dollar Tree or Dollar Store pool noodles. Cut them long ways. Oops, I flipped that. That's why. Sorry, hang on. Just want to show you what the intention of this is. For now, it's kind of wonky, but the plan is to take a pole or a piece of PVC and run it so that I can just grab it here and take it to either side. But for those of you who live in the desert like me, you will understand how nice, if I had that corner closed, that would be on the plants. So that was one thing we did. So the other thing we did was we put pavers down. And these pavers were already at this house. I bought this house 6 months ago, and it had pavers laying around that I have no intention of keeping in the yard. So I decided to recycle them into the property. And they happen to go pretty much to the top of where I told you that it's supposed to be buried 5 inches deep. So that adds a little more stability there. We threw some sand down just to stabilize the foundation. And I'm not walking in mud because I live apparently in a floodplain. So from there, today we just finished everything. So now I've got shelves, which is all nice. And plants that are kind of started that have been sitting in the house. And for those of you who haven't heard of it, it's called a garden tower. And it's lovely. And it spins. So, from there, we went through and we took some roofing nails.
We ain't taking that.
So we took some roofing nails. Oh, I missed one. And we stuck them 2 by 2.
So roofing screws.
Sorry, roofing screws. Correction, roofing screws. As you saw in some of the other videos. And it has a little grommet with a little gasket on there. And I did 2 per. And so I did bottom, stabilizing bar, and top. I also told you in the last video that I was going to get the bolts and stick those there. We did find out later that for that connection from this pole to where those cross there was a washer there. So make sure you don't miss that washer because we had to unscrew it and deal with it later. These clips, kind of a pain in the butt to put on, but they do hold it in until you get the screws in, that's for sure, because it was blowing pretty bad last night when I was putting this all together. And the wind took off with a couple of my panels while they were sitting on the ground, so that was pretty fun. Oh, so when he connected the actual greenhouse to the wood, he got longer roofing screws. So these are, I think, 1 inch, and I think these are 1.5 inch. So the 1.5 inch went through. Is it focusing? So they went through that metal piece and into the wood. And we have one somewhere in the top on that stabilizing, and as far as I know, the corner, but if not, I know that there is one on that corner, and I'm not so sure there. So on the back side, we went ahead and put 2 screws across the top of each of these panels. And we didn't put any on this top one right here because it does have these clips. We're going to test these little clips out because we don't want to have to go all the way back into the wood, because if you see, there's a big gap there. Here we were able to get away with it because it doubled up. Oh, he only put 1 there. But you can see, no, just kidding. So that's where we went ahead and, yeah, that's actually to the wood. That one's to the wood because it's below. So is that one. That one's also below. And then I think we've got another one to the wood there and other places. So you get the idea. And we went around and did 2 by 2 by 2. And then on the back side, I connected those with, I think it was 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 M8s. Double check it before you go. I think we bought 1 inch and 1 inch was too short, so we had to go back and get 1 1/4. And they used M8s throughout. So the vents are up there, or I should say the windows that they called them. But this tells you kind of how everything went. The vents don't seem to close all the way. I don't know if we've done something wrong, but maybe it's not a bad thing because it'll allow some air to escape when the wind's blowing. One other plan we have is to extend those dinky little things, because if you look at them, I'm 5'8", and that's as close as I can reach. I'm still about a foot short from being able to reach those. So we're planning on putting something on it, making it longer. There's a little tooth that grabs right in there. Where's it at? I don't know if you can see that little nub sticking out, but there's a hole, and that's what's holding it down right now. And they've done that for all four. We ran those roofing screws through the top. You can see the tips of them sticking through. And we ran it through that little track right there, which is that track holding the window down. And then we also ran it here. So last night was a pretty decent windstorm. And with our pretty decent windstorm, everything held. So I'm pretty excited about that. Got some tools hanging. I've got plenty of room. You can see the shelves, how many shelves I have in here. Only because I don't feel like bending over every day, and I would like better drainage, and I like to have my plants drain onto each other. So there you have it. It is possible to solidify this thing and create a wood frame if you're talented enough. And I think we did have to go back to the store and pick up two more 2x6s, which I think in the video I showed you 6 last time. We ended up having to go get 2 more. And yeah, I think that's about it. So there you have it. If you have any questions, I may or may not be able to answer them, but good luck.